In this video, I'm going to tell you why narcissists hate closure, why you won't be getting it from them, and how you can actually get closure all on your own without their help anyway. So let's do it. What even is closure? Well, it's understanding why a relationship didn't work out. It's talking about what happened with this person and two people making that choice. Things are over. We're going to accept it. We're going to walk away and move forward with our lives. And this is what is done in a well-adjusted breakup. Even if you don't get every answer you were looking for, or you don't get a long conversation, both of you realize that it's done. There is that acceptance, painful as it might be. At least you know something. You have some answers and you can work through the rest on your own. Narcissists typically end relationships extremely abruptly. You're left with a million questions and absolutely no answers. And I hope to answer some things as we go through the course of this video. So why somebody highly narcissistic hates closure? Let's go ahead and get into it. Number one, because they would have to end things like an adult. Narcissists are extremely immature people. On a good day, you're dealing with like a 12-year-old. Do you remember in like junior high school when you found out that like your crush slipped a note to somebody else and that was basically them breaking up with you and you just kind of had to deal with it? That's kind of how it goes here. Narcissists avoid confrontation. They don't want to be the bad guy and say that things aren't working out. They kind of want to slip away quietly into the night and move on to somebody else. They don't want to have to deal with your being hurt. They don't want to deal with anything. Remember, this is all about them. They don't want to deal with how you feel about it. Number two, this potentially would close the door for good if you got closure. Narcissists are very ambiguous people. They never tell you completely what's going on. You're kind of left in the dark about something pretty much all of the time. Everything with them is you're in some weird ass state of like perpetual limbo. And that's where they like it, with you basically not knowing jack shit. If they say it's over, they'll tell you some lame ass story, or even if it's a real breakup and a real conversation, it's over, it's finished. The narcissist might be over you and moving on with somebody new, but they don't actually want to tell you the truth because here's what's going to happen. You're going to go somewhere else. They don't want you to go somewhere else. They just kind of want you to be like the Honda that sits in the driveway while they go and test drive other cars, essentially. Your job is to just sit and wait for them to decide, well, hey, actually, I don't want to break up, so hi, I'm going to pop back into your life now. They tell you it's over and you move on, but that's just the problem. You move on, but more on that in a second. If they told you the truth, if they stopped the ambiguity, you would walk away. And that's the whole problem and why you won't get any closure, because you could potentially walk away. You wouldn't cling. You wouldn't be confused. They wouldn't be able to give you that false idea that maybe there's hope. You wouldn't struggle with being no contact because you would have answers. Things would make sense to you. They need you to be in the dark. They need you to be confused and in a foggy haze about what's happening. Number three, with that being said, actually giving you closure obviously makes a Hoover more difficult. If they tell you what it is, which is what I just said, and you know the truth, it's kind of hard for them to pop back in your life. I was discarded by the narcissist that I dealt with. He was there one day and gone the next for about 3.5 or so, kind of months. And I was, I had to square with it. I had to deal with it and move on. And then poof, there he was on my phone, texting me with that lame ass, hey, like he didn't do the shit that I know that he did and that he knows that he did. And I've said this before, I will again. I spoke to him when he hoovered me for a couple of weeks. Now, had he said, Jessie, I met somebody else, it's over, I'm so sorry, or even if he would have said, bitch, I hate you and you drive me crazy, go away, that would have affected me differently. When they vanish and they say nothing and you have no closure, you wait around a little bit. You wonder. You have questions. You want to talk because things feel unfinished and unresolved, and that's kind of uncomfortable. You are far more likely to talk to somebody who drifts away silently into the night without a word than someone who says, I don't like you anymore. This doesn't work for me. I found somebody else. Ultimately, again, removing the question, the foggy haze, the ambiguity would give you all you need to be able to move on and forget about them. Speaking of that, number 4, You move on and you forget about them. Maybe not entirely. If the breakup was actually an adult conversation, you are more likely to move on, take time for yourself, find somebody new. The narcissist cannot have you moving on. They are not done with you yet. Whether you walk away or they discard you, they're not done with you yet. They plan on keeping you around as long as they possibly can. If you ignore them, go no contact, meet somebody else, all that good stuff that we need to do, they have lost you as supply. They cannot handle that. It upsets them very much. They have to work harder to put new supply into your place. And so you can see how they don't want to give you a good handle on things at the end of the relationship. They don't want to deal with things in a healthy way. That's not what they're looking for. If you go over these things that I just, talked about, that's what they're looking for, to keep you constantly confused. It doesn't really benefit them to give you closure. So why would they? In looking for resolution and closure, we have a lot of questions. So I'm going to run down the most common ones that I get asked and that I see floating around on the internet. And maybe you're struggling with some of them right now, so I'm going to answer them for you to the best of my ability. Maybe it'll give you some closure here. I will attempt to do my best to give you what they're not going to. So, why did things end? More often than not, they found new supply, and you're set on the back burner until they decide to hoover you. Why did things end so abruptly? Well, they were grooming somebody new. They finally decided it was a safe time to make the jump, and so they're just kind of gone. They've moved on again to somebody else. How could they move on so fast? Well, the new supply, 9 times out of 10, is already in their life before you are discarded. They don't meet fast. I mean, they do, but they've already met this person weeks or months or maybe even a year or more while they still carried on with you. So really, when we call them new supply, they're probably not new. They've been around for more than likely at least a few weeks, and then they make the jump again when they feel comfortable. What's wrong with me? Absolutely nothing. The narcissist has found somebody new to fool. You know the tricks. You're smart. You've sorted them out. You are now perhaps resentful that they're being mean to you. You don't give them what you used to. On top of that, narcissists get bored fast. But all of that in the what's wrong with me question, again, nothing. These are them issues, not you issues. If they get bored fast, then they shouldn't be looking for a long-term relationship. They're not, but they shouldn't give you the idea that that's what they're looking for. Once you get smart and they're upset about it and they leave, again, them problems. If you would just be a normal, trustworthy, decent human being, again, they wouldn't have all these problems. They bring it all on themselves. Them issues, not you issues. Will they come back? Most narcissists circle back and hoover at least once. Some cling like hell, but 99.999% of them will come back at least once. I knew it was bad. Why didn't I leave? Because you didn't realize it was bad because it wasn't always bad. You were love bombed, manipulated. Somebody gave you mixed signals. They messed with your emotions. This can even mess with your hormones. They mess with your dopamine and cortisol levels. It actually is hormonal. You become addicted and trauma bonded. So don't be hard on yourself. If you didn't know, you didn't know. I don't know shit about quantum physics. It doesn't make me stupid. We just don't know what we don't know. We have to admit that there's perhaps some naivete on our part, but not stupidity. And it's not good to criticize yourself for not leaving. Why did I overlook the red flags? Well, you were possibly in a low point in your life. Maybe you lost a job or a family member. You fell on hard times. You were recently divorced or just, getting over a breakup. And this person kind of swooped in like vultures and you overlooked it because you wanted to. Sometimes we don't know certain things are red flags. Most people get mixed up with narcissists and toxic people, and that's because they might have codependent personality styles. So there could be several reasons why we all overlook the red flags. But here are some of the top things that you can do to actually give yourself some closure, and you don't need shit from them. Number 1 is research. Learn about toxic traits. Learn about personality disorders. Educate yourself. I always recommend other people here on YouTube. Dr. Ramani, Kim Saeed, Angie Atkinson, The Royal We, Lisa Romano, Little Shaman, Common Ego, Rebecca Zung. There are so many more. There is so much information available and so many different people from all walks of life delivering it, right to you. It is amazing. Soak it all in. Next, tell your story. I will tell my shit show story to anybody who will listen because it helps solidify my abuse. It makes me feel better. It'll make you feel better too. You can write about it, blog about it, share it. Sharing your story, if you choose to share it publicly, it can absolutely help other people too. Next is therapy. See a counselor, a coach, a professional. Talk in a private, safe place about what happened. The next thing is time. It's that cliche thing that I hate saying, but every day things do get better. Even when they feel like they don't, they are getting better. Stay no contact, stay strong. You are one hell of a resilient human being, and you can do this. Next up is passion. Find what you love doing. Find it and never let go. Run with it. And let that be what you focus on. I learned from starting this channel that your passion in life, your purpose, it is incredibly fulfilling, rewarding. But in life, you have to focus on something. Sure as hell not someone. Self-care. Therapy, learning to be selfish with your time, learning about yourself, diet, exercise, therapy, all that good stuff. You've done enough taking care of other people who don't even appreciate it. It is time to take care of you. Forgiveness. You have to forgive yourself. You made a mistake, maybe even several. I made all of them, and that's okay. We mess up. We're human. Forgive yourself. Learn how to make it better. Understand this person has issues and it is not personal. Like I said, it is them issues, not you issues. They treat everyone badly, their kids, their spouses, their coworkers. None of this is about you. And if you can find it in your heart, you can forgive them. Even if you can't, you really, really have to forgive yourself. It's impossible to move forward if you don't forgive yourself. You have to heal, learn to grieve, and do it in a healthy way. Acceptance. You have to accept that this person is who they are. You have to also accept who you are. Accept that you will never have all the answers anyway. More importantly, you don't want them. You don't need them. They're probably all pretty gross. Accept that you have to move forward. Life goes on. It's a beautiful thing, but we only get one shot at this. Don't waste it on someone, that they're not even about you. You can do better than that. They don't matter at the end of the day. I have more videos on the screen for you if you want more information about narcissistic personality disorder. Please subscribe if you haven't. Big thank you to my Survivors Army for your overwhelming support of me, my channel, and what I do here. Have a great day, Survivor, and take care of yourself.